Patti Boulaye is a singer, actress and artist who rose to prominence after winning New Faces back in 1978. And she's on the line with us here just now. How are you doing today?
I'm really good, Toby. I have to say, you look really bright and cheerful.
Thank you. So do you. Now, there's a pretty funny story, isn't there, about how you ended up auditioning for Hair back in those early days.
Back in those early days is a good description of it. There was a crazy show in London. I mean, it was called Hair. Okay,
Yeah.
it was sort of like a big statement for hippie movement around the US and I guess Europe. And this show had opened in London, but when it opened, I was still dodging bullets in Africa.
Wow.
Because my country was in a civil war. So I was caught for a short while, thank God, in the firing line, as they say. And then I came to England simply because my parents sent me to London on holidays to stay with my sister while I decided career path. My first choice was to be a nun. So that was what earned me a break to decide. And I came to England and I was just on a bus, actually going past St. Giles Circus, when I saw what looked like Madame Tussauds. It was a big head of rainbow-colored, big head of hair with hair, rainbow-colored hair. And I thought, okay, that must be Madame Tussauds because that was the look of Madame Tussauds in those days.
Yeah.
There was this lady's head with rainbow-colored hair, so and there was a long queue, and the building was a rounded front. Okay, Madame Tussauds has a bit of white paint on it. I didn't remember, but I remember the round front, big head with rainbow-colored hair, and long queues.
Wow.
So I thought, oh, that must be Madame Tussauds. I got off the bus and I joined the queue. 2 hours later, I found myself at an audition. It was crazy. And when they talk about destiny, yes, because anybody else would have turned away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, it's not Madame Tussauds, so I wasted my time. But I just thought, well, I've been here 2 hours, so what do I do to get in? So he said, it's an audition. So I said, okay, how much is the audition? And he said, no, you sing, you don't pay. You've come to sing. And I thought, oh, for goodness sakes, actually, my first reaction was, this is amazing. That's all I have to do to get in? It's sing. He said, yes. I thought, this is fantastic. I mean, where do you get anything for free?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I got in and everybody was singing the same. Oh my gosh. They took us in 3 or 4 at a time. And as you're waiting in the green room, you can hear other people auditioning. And they were just singing the same songs. I mean, to me, it was weird because I didn't know anything about the show. No, the fact that everybody else in my long queue dressed strangely, really.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter to me. I just thought, okay, that's their choice of dressing. I don't mind. I never judge how people want to, but to sing the same songs, I just thought, whoa, hang on. So when it was my turn, I went on stage and the director, a voice from the dark, said, okay, what's your name? I gave my name. And he said, are you a member of Equity? I said, what's that? And the whole, he said, they just thought I was a comedian. Said she's got to be a comedian. She's dressed like she's going for an interview in a bank.
Yeah.
And she's come for audition with hair. Anyway, so what happened was, I said, I'm not I don't know what Equity is. And they said, okay, what are you going to sing for us? I said, I didn't come to sing. He said that was it. She didn't come to sing. And so the MD said, oh, come over here. He said, do you know any songs? I said, yeah. He said, what songs? I said, The Sound of Music. He said, The Sound of Music. I said, yes. He said, okay, what key? I said, I don't know. Play it. All the questions. And so he played it and I sang The Sound of Music in my best Von Trapp voice. And I got the job.
Wow.
It was amazing, Toby, because
Yeah.
they were looking for a soprano because they had this the Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. And they were looking for a soprano voice. And everybody else was singing, when the moon is in the 7th house. Miles was the most popular song, I think, in the show.
Yeah.
And I just came in and hit the highest notes. And they had seen, he said they had seen over 2,000 people just trying to look for someone who. So that's destiny, right?
Yeah. What was your reaction when you found out you got the job? I mean, did they tell you there and then, or was it
No.
a case of hearing back later?
Oh gosh, they finished and they, said, okay, thank you. And I thought, yeah, what a weird day. So I went back and I was telling my sister this surreal day I have had, sightseeing.
Yeah.
We were just laughing about it. I didn't know anything about hair either. And the phone rings and they want me to come and see them because I got the job. I thought, excuse me. So my sister said, go and find out what it is. And so I did. But I remember going and seeing the show and I thought, whoa, Toby, just imagine. I have just come from a convent. I was going to be a nun.
Yeah.
They had a nude scene. Oh, I can't tell you. I just went, oh, no. I said, my mother will shoot me over the phone all the way from Africa.
It's such a crazy story. You could make a movie about it.
Well, no, it was just the funniest thing. When they, the first time, actually my husband, we've been married 47 years, but the first time he actually, heard this story told by Paul Nicholas. You remember Paul Nicholas was the director of the show, and they did This Is Your Life for him. So they invited me because apparently, I was the weirdest audition ever. And that was when I heard my audition from the other point of view. And it was quite funny. I thought they were weird. They thought I was weird.
Did you ever get to visit Madame Tussauds in the end?
No, I'm worried about what will happen. I don't know where I'll end up if I went to Madame Tussauds.
The audition itself was an accident, but prior to that, had you had any ambition to be an actress or a singer or something like that?
No, because in my country, there was no tradition for that. It was still seen as vagabonds and strolling minstrels, okay? And I did play roles in school plays, but oh, for goodness sakes. And we danced, I went to see River Dance, Lord of the Dance, and I met Michael Flatley. He invited us stage, okay? And I told him, funny story, I said to him, if you can imagine a bunch of African children trying to do what you just done, I said, that was our link with show business. So we kind of, as you know, it's like doing, plays at school, in a nursery school. That was really the extent of my experience up to then.
An interesting fact about you is that you were born in a taxi.
You dug that one up, did you?
Yes.
I know. But okay, Toby, look at it this way. I was the 7th of 9 children.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm so glad my mother went all the way to 7. Not just 7, the 8th and the 9th. But, so I've always said to myself, 7 has got to be God's favorite number. Well, my mother we lived at that point when my mother was pregnant with me, we lived in a place called Asaba. There's a river Niger that breaks up Nigeria into 3 places. Okay. Asaba is right on the estuary. So you have to cross like the river to go to the hospital. Okay, the river is literally a mile long, and there is a bridge that was built by the British to cross the river to the other side of Nigeria. And so my mother went into labor, got into a taxi, was on the ferry crossing the other side, but she never made it to the other side because I arrived while in time. I don't know what's going on, but I need to get out of here.
Yes, desperate to get out in the world.
Yeah, please. It has always been the story of my life.
Yes. I mean, is that a kind of metaphor for maybe being on stage and things like that? You want to get out there and show yourself, and that's what happened when you were born.
Actually, Toby, to be honest with you, I remember when my mother saw me on stage, I was playing Carmen, which is years later, and she said, of all my children, you are the last one I expected to see like this, because I was very quiet, very retired, very shy. It was hard to get at me. Would you believe? Aren't you glad you could get away? My mother always said, my goodness, of all my children, she was the least outgoing. So, to be honest, I don't think it was, I don't know, like I said, destiny. But in being quiet, I learned a lot about life. Instead of expressing my opinion or trying to when I was little, being quiet quiet meant that I listened to adults. I listened to people around me. I observed. My mother always said that. She said I was always quiet, but when I came out with something, it was quite shocking because nobody had realized how much I had observed. Yeah, I think my early life prepared me for show business. I didn't know that because it wasn't on my radar at all.
And what would you say are your recollections of those early days of show business?
It was for endurance, incredible training for discernment, incredible training for understanding of human nature. Because on my 17th birthday, the company baked a cake of marijuana. You see, I wasn't into the drug thing. I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. And they spent their energy trying to see me stoned once.
Yeah.
And on my birthday, they baked a cake of marijuana and then they laced my champagne with LSD. It was a great lesson in not trusting what you see.
Yeah.
But I didn't, luckily for me, I was stubborn enough. You see, what they didn't know was that I had survived a genocide. I didn't speak about it because when I was growing up, we were told that careless talk kills. And so I've just come from that, and I wasn't about to let anybody know anything about my life. They just saw this 16-year-old that didn't smoke, drink, didn't want, quote, fight for freedom, which I thought was a stupid idea, incidentally. And that's what they saw. But what I saw was a lot of adults behaving rather badly and stupid. That's what I saw. But just stupid adults with games, dangerous games. Just stupid adults. Because how do you lace the drink of somebody who's never drank or even taken any kind of drug with LSD? So I didn't drink it and I didn't eat the cake. I think it's probably because I have an incredible guardian angel or because I was very stubborn and I don't mind standing on my own. Never have. I'm not a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
So I've learned that was my experience, my earliest in show business.
How did you find out eventually about the cake and the drink? Did you just work out because nobody else went near it?
No. It was said as a joke. Within a few days, somebody told, they were always stoned out of their minds anyway. So they were careless in their talk and careless in their, and somebody said, oh, they just wanted to see me stoned and, my reaction to LSD. I thought, good heavens. And I went to, read up about LSD because those days we didn't have Google and all of that. And I thought, wow, I thought this was not a joke. This was pure wickedness. And so I just, I'm in show business, but not of it. It's the best way to put it for that reason.
And then the fame as well. How did you cope with that early on?
When this fame broke, I did a program called New Faces, and I only went on New Faces. Now, the public didn't know this. I only went on New Faces because I just lost one of my brothers in a plane crash, and I couldn't get home for 2 weeks. And so, my fiance boyfriend at the time said to me, well, you might as well do this program. I mean, are you going to sit here and just get deeper and deeper into a state of darkness? And I thought, who cares, really? I'll do it. And that's why I went on the program. And then I went home for the funeral after the program. By the time I got back, it had been aired and had taken the country by storm. I was totally ignorant of this. So when I arrived at the airport, there were so many photographers. And I thought, oh my goodness, I must have Mick Jagger or somebody behind me. I kept going, who are they photographing? Some of the photographers said it was quite funny because they got a lot of back of my head. But I mean, to be honest with you, I've really got to be honest with you. It's sad to say this, but the fame didn't mean anything. I would have given it all up to get my brother back. And so that was, for many years, it was just, I saw it that way. And it enhanced my faith, I must say. After my initial anger with God, it kind of strengthened my faith because I decided that money is not, or fame must not be instead of life. I don't want to lose another loved one if that means being famous. I would give up the fame any day, the drop of a hat, to have my loved one safe. So, the fame to me was just, it was like a promotion at work.
Yeah.
Really. It's promotion promotion. And now, all these years later, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what was it all about anyway? What can you use it for? That's what my thought is now. Is what were you? I actually, oh, Toby, I have never said this before. I have a friend who is His Holiness Radnath Swami. He is the head of the Hindu Krishna religion. Would you believe that?
Wow.
Thank you. I saw him 2 weeks ago, and we were sitting at dinner, private dinner. There's just 8 of us. And I was sat on his right-hand side, and he said to me, asked me a very good question. And he said, now, how are you getting on in this industry of yours? I said, Your Holiness. I said, Your Holiness, you know, the trouble I have with this industry, I am in it.
Yeah.
I can't get to be part of it. I cannot, no matter how hard I try. I can't have this thing about, oh, I'm famous. I can't have. And he said to me, didn't the Lord Jesus say, be in the world, but not of it? And I thought, oh, I suppose that applies to show business too. But
Yeah.
and then I said to him, but Your Holiness, what is it all about? And this very wise man said to me, it's all about God giving you a voice to use for him. Wow. I tell you, it was like, okay, it's like the next stage in my life. And I said to him, I am trying to do that. I said, I have been trying to do that. And I said, thank you for confirming that, because now I know I'm on the right path. I have no desire to go on. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. They have asked me 7 times. I have no desire for kind of fame. When I joined show business, I looked at it as something that I looked at it as a public service. Okay. And I saw myself as a public servant, in that no matter what I'm going through, my job is to put that aside and enhance the life of somebody else. And so that has always been my view of show business. And now I am so glad for the internet, because you can blog, you can TikTok your ideas, you can promote. I tell you what, my son introduced me to a man called Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
And I have watched his videos. I'm still watching his videos, about to read his book. And I'm thinking, this man is doing what I want to do, what I have been trying to do. I mean, people on LinkedIn say to me, you are so brave to talk about suicide, to talk about mental health. I said, why is it brave? We're losing our young people to this madness. And you think it's brave to talk about it? I am a mother, I'm a grandmother. And then my son says, Mommy, you should read and watch Jordan Peterson. And I started watching him. And I'm telling you, I am so enamored of this man. I can't tell you. Have you heard of Jordan Peterson?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Canadian psychologist.
Yes, I had never heard of him. And my son pointed me to him. And I'm going to read his book, and then I'm going to get in touch with him and go, I'm sending you so much hug.
Yes.
Seriously, I'm going to say to him, I am sending you so much hug from a mother and a grandmother. That's my future thing, yeah.
Yeah. And looking back on your career, what would you say you are most proudest of? If it's not the fame.
What I'm proudest of is to have been, oh my gosh, I am boasting of this, not of my doing, but of God's doing. I was one of 12 people on the steering committee of Her Majesty the Queen's Golden Jubilee.
Wow.
Thank you. I just thought, okay, nothing can beat this now.
Yeah.
That was me. I'm like, I'm done now. Where's the next challenge, Father in heaven? Tell me. That really. And I met Her Majesty the Queen, our late Queen, 12 times.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, come on. That has to be in my career. That is. And then I went to Jordan to sing at next to the King Hussein at, Prince Hassan's birthday. I mean, it was wonderful. It's just, I have had a blessed life.
Yeah.
And of course, with Michael Jackson as well, who, I adored MJ. And I went to Los Angeles to sing at his 45th birthday.
It doesn't get bigger than all of that.
It doesn't.
And speaking of royalty, you're descended from a Nigerian tribal king, right?
Yes, it's not the same thing as British royals. The British royals still exist, and it's like a firm.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like a family, and it's a business, like a family business, really. But my grandfather, who was the king, was murdered, unfortunately, by his best friend, and his throne was usurped. And then, my grandmother was sent into abject poverty. I mean, she took her children right ran for her life. So yeah, but what does that mean anyway? Well, I mean, somebody says to me, I'm a prince. I said, good for you.
Well, we should mention that you received an OBE
From the king.
Yes.
I actually absolutely adore Prince. Oh, I absolutely adore Charles. I met him, I was 21 at the time. He was 23, I think, or 24. Absolutely charming. I adored him. But him, I've met the king over 20 times.
Wow.
No! It took me a few days. First of all, after we lost Her Majesty the Queen, who to me was, gosh, like a grandmother. It was like losing a grandmother. It wasn't just a monarch. There was something about the woman, I don't know what it is. And after losing her, which I was just in state of shock for weeks, then I suddenly thought, wait a minute, I got my OBE from the King of England, and I haven't done anything yet. It's wonderful. So exciting.
Certainly. You met the king 20 times. That's probably more than Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak so far.
To be honest with you, but don't forget, Toby, they've only just started.
Yeah.
I've been in the industry for 53 years and counting. So they can't compete with that. Come on, age before beauty, for goodness sake.
Yes. And are you still performing live these days and working in the industry?
Yes, I am. Because, okay, I tell you what, I actually spent 18 years. I, in a sense, it wasn't a retirement, but I just decided I had to bring up my children. I had to be there for them while they were going through difficulties. And then I decided to help many charities. I learned about charities. I started my own charity, built 5 basic healthcare clinics in Africa and a school with Prince Harry's charity in Africa. And then I thought, okay, actually, it was ex-Prime Minister Sir John Major who said to me, young lady, I think you should just go back and do what you love doing, what makes you happy. And so I did. And I went back to singing, and I did a Billie Holiday show, which I always wanted to, Billie Holiday songs. But I didn't want to do like a tribute. And I thought, okay, I'll use it as a form of telling stories about my life. And so I did. Then after that, I did Aretha Franklin, which is totally different because Billie Holiday was blues and dark. I had to find humor in Billie to just for entertainment's sake. But Aretha Franklin was like girl power. And I thought, oh, okay. So I had to find humor in that as well, because I'm not a girl power person. And then now I decided I was going to, I didn't decide. Everybody said to me, you've got to do a Diana Ross. You've got to do a Diana Ross. And I thought, Michael Jackson, actually, I should have dedicated this show to MJ, because every time he saw me, he would go, ain't no mountain high, And I go, hey, stop it. He said, Daddy, there's got to be a throwback. There's got to be a throwback. You got to be related to Miss Ross. I'm thinking I'm not related to her. I met her many years ago. But anyway, I am now doing a show called I'm Coming Out. It's a great title for telling the story of my life. And I use the songs of the Supremes. It's quite fun. Diana Ross and the Supremes. And I sing Puccini, Nessun Dorma.
Wow.
I sing one of Bessie Smith's songs, Etta James songs. And, it's just an eclectic mix of music, just something people know. And in between, I tell stories of my life. Funny ones, sad ones.
Nessun Dorma. I don't think I'd have expected that.
I know. I tell you what. Okay. This is what I tell my audience, so I might as well tell you. This is how it came about. I was doing Aretha Franklin, and I went on Facebook because I read somewhere that she had recorded about 300 songs, okay, and had so many hits. So I thought, gosh, where do I start? I was never a big fan, I've got to say. Neither am I a big fan of Miss Ross, but they have incredible music. So anyway, I went on Facebook and said, could you send me your favorite, to win 2 tickets, send me your favorite Aretha Franklin songs. And if you have the 17 songs I need that I've chosen to sing, you can win 2 tickets. Nessun Dorma kept coming up. And I'm going, what is wrong with people? Nessun Dorma? Pavarotti? And I'm going, okay, I'm glad people are getting colorblind, but this is ridiculous. Okay. Aretha Franklin and Pavarotti. And then finally I went, they're having me on. And I decided to Google and I thought, no way! She sang Nelson Dorma? And then I thought, okay, this is a challenge. So I went and learned Nelson Dorma.
Wow.
It always gets a standing ovation when I sing it.
How does it compare to Pavarotti? Is it done in the same way with the last note like that, or is it more poppy?
No, it's exactly, sometimes I shy away from bastardizing sounds, but, unless you can really get it right. I think it's quite insecure sometimes to try and get a song. People say, oh, I'm doing it my way. Well, if you can't sing it, leave it alone. Okay, I admire people, but that was, for me, it was a challenge to try and sing it classically. And it was another part of my voice I developed very well. So yeah, I'm really pleased. Yeah, I'm pleased with it that I did that.
And what else is coming up for you? Any more exciting projects?
Yes. Okay. One thing I am these days and have been for 12 years is a visiting teaching fellow at Middlesex University. And I also give lectures. I've given lectures Oxford University, Birmingham University. So I decided that I have my own academy called Bipada Academy. I decided to take my teaching online. So I'm hoping. It's technical things that holding me back, but I'm hoping my children will help me. But I want to take like my public speaking, confidence, focus, the way of doing life. I had a series called Life with Patti Boulaye, which I'm going to start again. And it's just building people's confidence. I have to say, and it's not because you're a young man, but my drive in the last 15 years has been to do something for young men.
Yeah.
The next generation, because everything is about girl power, girl this. I think it gets me really angry because I think the young men are being disenfranchised, and so that's why I love Jordan Peterson, I'm afraid.
Yes, absolutely.
I love him. I can't wait to get to meet him if God allows, because I'm telling you, I won't let go of him.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say thank you so much. Seriously. I know a lot of people dislike him, but then a lot of people are living in darkness anyway.
Yeah. Well, where are we able to keep up to date with you and find out all about your projects?
Well, I tell you what, you can go on pattiboulaye.com and everything is there when I can update it. But literally the links are there. Please, everyone, forgive me. I am heading for my 70s, I am learning to keep up with technology, but it's all there on my website. I actually update my own website.
Nice. Well, many thanks for joining us today. It's been great to talk to you.
God bless you, darling. Thank you for having me on your show, and I've really enjoyed speaking to you. Great questions.